Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the British Association for Women in Policing Awards 2018. So I could start with a huzzah! Huzzah! But only a few of you will know what I'm talking about. Those that attended the medieval banquet last night, which was fantastic. And this venue that we're in today, how amazing is it? Pretty amazing, I'd say. So, our headline sponsor, Police Oracle, have kindly sponsored proceedings for the day, and Deloitte have sponsored our speakers and your table gifts, as well as an award. Could I invite Nikki Butt onto the stage, please?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for coming. I'm not going to be here for very long, Dee, don't worry. Today's all about celebrating the achievements of women in various roles across policing. But we're starting the day, as we mean to go on, with a celebration of our own. Many of you will have already seen Her Majesty the Queen's birthday honours list, but just in case you haven't, or you missed the listing because they used her name that she reserves for Sunday best, somewhere between Kate Adie and Tom Hardy, you would find our very own President, Dee Collins. So, on behalf of BAWP, I'd like to say thank you for the work that you've done for us, and congratulations. So, please, ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in both congratulating and welcoming to the stage Commander of the Order of the British Empire, Dee Collins.
I wasn't expecting that at all, but it is nice, isn't it, to have the work of BAWP being formally recognised. Let's just keep on going from strength to strength. So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
I have a feeling it's going to be one of those days. Welcome to our 12th annual National Awards event here at Coombe Abbey Hotel. And as always, it's so wonderful to be able to get together with you all once again to celebrate the exceptional work and achievements of women in policing from across the UK. After the success of last year's 30th anniversary event, the bar was set high. So I do hope that those of you who stayed last night enjoyed the wonderful food and hospitality and made the most of the opportunity to network and develop new working relationships. Last night was very much about the past. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Today is very much about women now and in the future. I want to start by acknowledging the work of Sarah from Conference Call, who helps the awards teams with venues. This, as you can imagine, can be quite a challenging process, as we don't really have a large budget for corporate award events, but she drives a hard bargain on our behalf. And as a result, we find ourselves once again in a wonderful venue to offer unique entertainment like last night's medieval banquet, for those of you who missed it. As we all know, we sit here today at an extremely challenging time for UK policing. We've just had the first anniversary of the Manchester Arena terrorist attack, and the recent events in Salisbury have demonstrated that policing is facing some of the most complex and far-reaching challenges than we've ever done before. Such attacks not only stretch our policing resources to the limit, but also strike fear into our communities, encouraging hatred and division. And add to this the increased scrutiny around violent crime, the ongoing challenging nature of cybercrime, the uncertainty around funding. It does mean that policing nationally is still a very challenging place. And these events have also been surrounded by some unhelpful media headlines that risk eroding the important relationship we have with our communities. And as I've said on many occasions before, only by continuing to build a diverse and more inclusive workforce, which more accurately reflects and understands our communities, will be able to increase trust and confidence, and in turn, will that allow us to tackle extremism and deliver an all-round better service. The British Association of Women in Policing, along with other staff support networks, continues to play a key role in ensuring that police services evolve into that modern, inclusive profession that will improve things for all of our staff, officers, volunteers, and ultimately the public. And in my own force in West Yorkshire, we've managed to recruit over 1,000 new police officers in the past 2 years, as well as recruiting into police staff roles and specials and volunteers. And as other forces around the country also continue to recruit, it is essential that we do everything that we can to make our organisations as attractive as possible for women from all cultures and backgrounds. Although women continue to be underrepresented in specialist roles and at chief officer level, things are improving, and the total proportion of women in the police service continues to rise, and I have no doubt that this new influx of officers and staff will hold a number of future chief officer and senior staff roles. Internally, we need to continue to challenge our actions and behaviour if we are to positively change our culture and create an environment where everybody feels like they can be themselves whilst at work. Undoubtedly, the last 30 years have seen a huge cultural shift in attitudes towards women in policing, from a culture, and some of us will remember this, from where women officers were a tiny minority. We were issued with a forced handbag on joining. Does anybody remember that? Yeah. We were given a stockings allowance, and we were told that we could only wear trousers on night shifts. We are now a culture where women make up an integral and ever-growing part of the service, and I've spent the last 3 decades as a uniform officer, as a road policing specialist, as Cleveland's first ever armed response officer, who was female, and now as a chief constable. So to enhance the work that we undertake with BAWP, last year I took up the National Portfolio for Gender Equality on behalf of the National Police Chiefs Council. And this provides us here at BAWP with a wonderful opportunity to influence decisions at a national level, not only in the NPCC, but also at the Home Office and indeed the Home Affairs Select Committee. We shouldn't underestimate the opportunity that this gives us to have our voice heard. This broader lens of gender, which is not just a focus on women, is now starting to gain traction by supporting a range of work, such as the He for She initiative led by Chief Constable Giles York, which aims to achieve equality by encouraging all genders to take action against negative stereotypes and behaviour. This work is also developing initiatives on closing the gender pay gap and sharing good practices throughout our new network of gender SPOCs in each force in the UK. And you will no doubt be aware that the government has introduced mandatory reporting requirements in the form of the Equality Act 2010 relating to pay. And that demands that every public body in England and Wales that employs more than 250 people is now expected to publish their pay gap between what men and women earn. And this includes police forces in England and Wales, and it provides us with a great opportunity to take stock of our journey so far and focus on the work that we still need to carry out and how we're going to do that. Sadly, according to the Office of National Statistics, in 2017, the UK gender pay gap was 9.1% for full-time workers and 18.4% for all staff and senior positions. And this gap widens hugely. And the common root causes for the gap include an underrepresentation of women at senior levels, fewer women working in highly paid professions, and a lack of part-time and flexible work. I've spoken previously about the fact that this issue isn't one about equal pay for equal work. That was made illegal in 1970 in the Equal Pay Act. Police pay is awarded according to rank or grade, where gender is irrelevant. However, there is the potential for the same issues that affect other sectors to come into play in policing. The impact of unconscious bias and the difference in the way that women and men navigate through our recruitment and promotion processes, and the way that men and women balance their careers with having children or other caring responsibilities, including the influence of their employer as they make those decisions. And we are aware that certain specialisms in policing, such as armed policing or public order, often receive pay supplements in the form of overtime. And as we know, these areas are still very heavily male-dominated. Traditionally in policing, a high proportion of officers are men and a high proportion of staff are women. And we all know that staff conditions are set by local forces for staff and can vary across the country, as well as forces that don't always follow the Police Staff Council guidelines. So I'm really pleased to be able to announce that we've got the opportunity once again to help develop women within the service by re-establishing the BAWP professional development events. And for later this year on the 10th of October, so a note for your diaries please, I'm delighted that some of the team were here yesterday planning this first event. You'll recall that for many of you, we sent a survey out to you asking what you wanted to have in that event, and hopefully when the details are formally announced, you'll all want to come along. Another change to our BAWP programme this year is the fact that those nominees who've been shortlisted will now have the opportunity to come to the stage and be presented with a certificate later today, rather than just the winner as in previous years. We are trying really hard to gain support and traction from forces by getting as many people to these awards as possible, and we hope by doing this that forces will be encouraged to support their nominees when they attend. Other notable events over the last 12 months has been the move towards recognising and recording gender and misogyny as hate crime. I'm really pleased to see that Nottinghamshire, Durham, Northumbria and Staffordshire are leading in this area, and North Yorkshire are stimulating a debate to consider moving towards gender-based recording. There's also some focus on sexual harassment in the workplace at present, and it's timely to remind ourselves of the standards that we set both on and off duty. Anyway, as you know, the purpose of the event today is not only to celebrate achievements, but also to celebrate excellence that is ultimately contributing towards our progress. And I say this every year, and I make no apology for saying it again. Once again, the standard of the nominations has been incredibly high, which only goes to show and give evidence of the crucial part that women are playing in policing. This year we had a total of 247 nominations, comprising of police officers of all ranks, police staff of all ranks, volunteers, specials from across 34 forces and 7 national agencies. The awards team worked incredibly hard over the last few weeks to reduce this number to 43 finalists across our 11 categories, including apparently braving the snow to get together to agree the shortlist. Thanks for the additional help also from other colleagues, so Tom Thompson, Rachel Evans, and as always we're really grateful to our esteemed final judging panel that consisted of Nikki Butt, Hadja Evans, Emma Barnett, Andy Rhodes and Jack Hawkins for finally being able to select the 11 winners and 2 highly commended awards. During the final judging process, a number of areas were highlighted, and in particular, the work of our volunteers. The job of policing can be difficult, and so most of us don't actually do it for the salary, but to do what our volunteers do for no financial reward is quite incredible, and we'd like to give them all an award. The value of transferable leadership skills was also recognised by the final panel. Chief Constable Rose was the one who suggested that all of the shortlisted candidates should receive a certificate, and that their forces or organisations could be encouraged to fund their attendance at this event to receive it in person. And the rest of the panel fully supported that approach. And so for the first time, we will be taking time to publicly acknowledge the people, including some of our terrific male colleagues, who made it to the final stage of judging but are not award recipients. It's fantastic to see that 2 of our shortlisted candidates were nominated for the IAWP He for She Award, and that 4 of our winners today are also winners of IAWP nominations. And I was delighted to learn that once again this year we received a nomination for a transgender officer, and that the nomination was made by the Christian Police Association. We're also delighted that Chief Superintendent Kerry Smith, where are you, Kerry? Right at the back there. She is here, and she's just been announced as the IAWP International Scholarship winner, so well done, Kerry. As always, I want to take a moment to say a special thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors who play a key role in ensuring that we can run this fantastic event and recognise the amazing achievements of women in policing. I must thank Sally Ramage for her unwavering support of our association over the years. And one of our key sponsors has been mentioned, our police oracle. Martin, where are you? Right here at the front. So please give Martin some time today to promote some of the fantastic work that you'll be talking about. So hopefully you'll get a few interviews lined up, Martin. Can I also encourage you to carry on visiting the exhibition area and to speak to all of our sponsors about what they do and their involvement in today's event. Likewise, thank you to all of our speakers today, and I'm really looking forward to listening to you all and learning from your experiences. Once again, a quick reminder about the raffle tickets. This year's prizes include a champagne gift set, jewellery and a stay here at Coombe Abbey. So please dig deep and give generously to the Prince's Trust worthy cause. And I would like to finish by saying that in challenging times like these, it's more important than ever that we take time to focus on the good. Today you will hear some exceptional stories of bravery, achievement, leadership and inspiration. You will hear stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Today is our opportunity to stop, to reflect, to recognise and to say thank you. I continue to feel extremely fortunate and proud to be the president of BAWP, and I look forward to spending the day with you all and learning about your achievements. Enjoy your day, and please be sure to give a big cheer for our award winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. So, we go to our first award of the day, which is for bravery and sponsored by the Nicola Hughes Foundation and Gord Alex Limited. Heather Cottrell, Cheshire Police. On the 17th of January 2018, Constable Heather Cottrell approached a car which had activated an ANPR camera. The driver of the car reversed into her police car to escape. Heather called for assistance whilst managing to open the driver's door and attempting to stop the male, but he then drove forward, dragging the officer along. He struggled with the officer and broke free, fleeing from his car and running off. Heather took chase through a residential estate and looped back towards their cars. Heather grabbed hold of the male as he was getting back into his car. He reached for a bag and the officer thought he had a knife. Despite this, Heather secured the male's hands. Heather called to passers-by who came to help her, and they assisted as she removed him from the car, took him to the ground and placed him in handcuffs. As a result of the incident, Heather sustained bruising and swelling to her leg, back and right index finger. In her statement, Heather wrote, I felt during the incident that I was going to be seriously hurt or potentially killed. I felt that I was being dragged under the car and that he would not hesitate to run me over. He had already rammed my police car and driven off with me, clinging onto the door. I believed that he would stop at nothing to get away and realised just how close I was to not going home to my family. The male was charged with assaulting Constable Cottrell, dangerous driving, driving licence and insurance offences, and remanded to court where he pleaded not guilty. Heather will have to relive the incident later in the year at his trial. President Dee Collins is proud to present Heather Cottrell of Cheshire Police with her award for bravery. Please can our sponsors join us on the stage? Sorry.
It's still brilliant.
Our second award for coaching and mentoring, sponsored by Springboard and the College of Policing. If they could join me on the stage, please. Julie Rawsthorne, Lancashire Constabulary. Flexible working within Lancashire Constabulary was introduced in the early 2000s, but take-up was initially poor. The post of Flexible Working Coordinator was created, to which Julie Rawsthorne was appointed. Julie supported managers, officers and staff. She assisted those off on maternity leave to help facilitate their return, and she worked with a number of senior management teams in relation to looking at how someone returning on flexible working could fit in with the staff, the shift rota. Julie's operational frontline experience meant she understood the exigencies of duty and the needs of the organisation to service demand, plus the personal benefits of a work-life balance as a working mother herself. Julie went above and beyond the expectations of her role. She was unafraid to challenge both individual senior managers and the culture of group thinking at the time. When Julie began in post, flexible working staff made up only 20% of the workforce, and by the time she left, This was at 30%. Julie has left a lasting legacy of balanced decision-making around flexible working requests. There is still a long way to go, but Julie continues to influence the gender agenda with her dedication and commitment to the Constabulary's Women's Network Inspire. She has helped organise a mentoring scheme of senior female officers and staff with local NHS managers, which has already benefited a cohort of policewomen, who have all gone on to be promoted at least once in the period since they were mentored. In summary, Julie is a role model to others in championing and developing force policies that support, advise and develop staff. President Dee Collins is proud to present Julie Rawsthorne of Lancashire Constabulary with her award for coaching and mentoring. To is community service, sponsored by Police Mutual. If they could join me on the stage, please. Jackie Fairbanks, Humberside Police. PCSO 7627, Jackie Fairbanks is a credit to the community she works in. Jackie consistently displays a high level of professionalism when dealing with sex trade workers and their clients on her community beat in the Humberside area. Jackie's extremely high standards means that she has placed a huge amount of accountability upon herself and the partner agencies she works closely with. Her overall professionalism and integrity has protected some of the most vulnerable sex trade workers, particularly street workers. Jackie was responsible for obtaining an injunction to be imposed in the hotspot area. The quality of her statement was so good that the injunction issued by the courts was based on her evidence alone, without the need to call any witnesses. The injunction was the first of its kind in the country to have been used to tackle the on-street sex trade. Between August and December 2017, the injunction resulted in a positive engagement with over 42 sex trade workers and the identification and engagement of over 30 sex trade users. Because of the trust and confidence the women have in Jackie, they are more willing to engage with the police when they have been a victim of violence or sexual offences. The women regularly provide information directly to Jackie about sex trade users who are of a particular risk towards women. Over 20 partner agencies work with Jackie and attend a regular 6-week multi-agency meeting which Jackie chairs. Valuable information is shared about all the working women and sex trade users. The sharing of this information often identifies sex trade users early on who pose the risk to working women, helping to keep them safe. Jackie also created and delivers a training package on prostitution to senior officers, specialist teams and student police officers at training school. What is significant is that Jackie completes all of this work on top of her daily duties as a community PCSO. President Dee Collins is proud to present PCSO Jackie Fairbanks of Humberside Police with her award for community service. category, we have a highly commended winner, Maida Ezzat, Metropolitan Police. Maida's performance to her community has been truly outstanding. She has been courageous in her assistance and delivery to the Met Trace project and has been integral to its success. Her professionalism and willingness to succeed is second to none. Over the last few years, Maida has volunteered to the Language and Cultural Service Specialist deployments to tender her exceptional linguistic skills, providing Arabic translation to police colleagues on numerous occasions. Maida often offers her services in her own time and on her scheduled rest days for no recompense. This is invaluable to police colleagues in the current climate and in our fight against terrorism. Maida is an exceptional and fully professional officer with a high degree of personal responsibility. Maida's award will be collected on her behalf by Julie Yeager, a retired Met Police officer and BAWP and IAWP member. Is Excellence in Performance and sponsored by Niche. If they could join me on the stage, please. Una Maguire, Royal Navy Police. As the Western Area Regional Intelligence Officer Masters-at-Arms, Una Maguire moved to the Royal Navy Police intelligence picture into a new sphere. Her dedication to the role was an inspiration to all and set the benchmark for the standard of intelligence management. A dynamic and extremely enthusiastic individual, her ability to interpret and develop sourced information into tangible policing product is well-grounded. Una has forged new liaisons with key partner agencies across defence, Home Office police forces and local government. Her interaction has enabled her to proactively organise and lead joint multi-agency policing operations. She has frequently been the major contributor to such operations with Devon and Cornwall Police to combat drugs within the local nighttime economy. Now she is the Royal Naval Police Lead Communications Data Manager and SPOC. The impact of her focus and output has been felt across the force. By providing mentorship and training to those who have little experience of this policing specialism, she has ensured a wider understanding of the need for communications data as an intrinsic part of modern policing practices. During her tenure, she has been pivotal in driving the implementation of intelligence-led policing in the RMP, rebuilding relationships between the Force Intelligence Bureau and RMP. There is a tangible difference. The FBI has become the go-to place for advice and assistance. She has encouraged symbiotic working relationships with all those she encounters. She is now responsible for the disruption and deterrence of several serious criminal activities within the Naval Service. BAWP President Dee Collins is proud to present Master-at-Arms Una Maguire of the Royal Navy with her award for excellence in performance.
Sorry, good morning everyone. I just wanted to say a few words. We're almost the hidden police force, the Royal Navy Police, which I'm part of, the RAF Police, my colleagues are in the room today, and the Royal Military Police of the Army. We do underpin and support Home Office Police, the MOD Police, in everything we do. I work in the Force Intelligence Bureau, which is the intelligence side of things, and we are very hidden, and you don't see the product that we deliver to yourselves. But I'd like to say today, thank you ever so much. I'm really proud to be here today and support, obviously, all the women in the room. Thank you.
So our next award we come to is Inspirational Woman, and is sponsored by Specialist Group International. If they could join me on the stage, please. And our Inspirational Woman is Jane Arthur, Merseyside Police. DC Jane Arthur is a detective constable with Merseyside Police. Jane joined the Metropolitan Police in 2004 and transferred to Merseyside Police in 2008, serving in a variety of roles in uniform and CID. Jane was born with spina bifida occulta and was always fully mobile until a scan confirmed her spinal cord was tethered at the base of the spine by a lipoma. In 2011, Jane's symptoms worsened, and in 2012, Jane underwent an operation to untether the spinal cord. Unfortunately, due to the complexity of the operation, Jane was left with damage to the spinal cord, leaving her initially paraplegic. Since then, Jane has been working tirelessly at getting movement back in her legs. Despite facing enormous challenges, Jane has continued to fulfil her role as a detective constable and is an invaluable member of the team in a busy investigations department. Jane is involved in training new recruits, giving talks about her life in a wheelchair, and plays a wheelchair user role in role plays. She is a champion promoting equality and diversity as a member of the Disability Support Network. Away from work, Jane has applied to be involved with the Spinal Cord Injury Charity Backup as a volunteer to teach wheelchair skills. Having been trained, she is hoping to start a position there to pass on these skills soon. In 2019, Jane will be entering a competition, the Snowdon Push, to raise money by climbing Mount Snowdon using her wheelchair. She is a keen horse rider and competed at the Riding for Disabled Association National Championships. She plays wheelchair basketball, enjoys clay pigeon shooting, and has an off-road trike wheelchair which she uses to go off the beaten track. Is anybody tired yet? Despite facing significant adversity, Jane has served as an inspiration to her colleagues and the wider community. Jane continues to push herself to achieve as much as she possibly can and looks for opportunities to involve herself and her wheelchair in as many activities and work normally associated with able-bodied persons. BAWP President Dee Collins is proud to present Jane Arthur of Merseyside Police with her award for Inspirational Woman.
Just wanted to say thank you very much for today to the sponsors and BAWP that have arranged all this for us. I'm very proud, and it just sinks in as you sat there from last night and today what this is all about. And I'm very proud to be a woman in policing and still be a woman in policing, but also a disabled woman in policing. And that has a lot of challenges, and every day is very difficult, but you just crack on, and it's quite interesting. I've actually started interviewing suspects again, and in order to do that, they've actually designed an officer safety training course, especially for me in my wheelchair, and that's enabled me to continue my skills as a detective and that means a heck of a lot. And it's good fun being thrown out of your wheelchair, getting wrestled to the ground, being in headlocks and all sorts. So yeah, it's been very interesting. And also a lot of thanks goes to Merseyside Police for supporting me for these last 6 years, because they've been through a lot of trouble with me, both from the Chief Con down to my colleagues and friends that have been there to support me. And thank you very much, Merseyside Police. Yeah, thank you.
So you were brilliant. I said you were.
So the next award we come to is Leadership, sponsored by Motorola. If they could join me on the stage, please. Annie Pitchell, Cleveland Police. Annie Pitchell is the manager of Cleveland Police's Protecting Vulnerable People support hub. Annie joined Cleveland in 2016, having previously been a deputy head teacher. Annie evidenced outstanding leadership skills within her interview, despite not having a policing background. Her role was new, but the team had existed for many years without the line management. The entire PVP department had been subject to review, and a full programme agreed to change working practice and roles. Annie used excellent leadership skills to listen to the team, observe and offer support to assist with issues. A significant proportion of staff resisted much of what Annie was trying to do, turning positive steps into negatives and viewing the glass as half empty. Annie persisted with her supportive approach. Well-being is at the heart of all she does. She introduced team meetings to keep people updated and allow for consultation. She ran a team building day so staff could start to recognise and value the difference in others, as well as ensuring everyone had monthly performance reviews where opportunities for development and welfare could be discussed. Where vacancies existed, Annie invested heavily in the recruitment process, challenging human resources where they thought her questions were too difficult. Subsequently, this means that the people who are now in the are new in the department are of the highest standards, having the personalities and enthusiasm to assist in changing the team dynamic. She also voluntarily became a blue light champion for mental health during this period. Whilst her job has been extremely difficult and emotionally draining, she has shown absolute determination to work through it and taken great delight even in the smallest of improvements. Annie has without doubt shown some of the very best leadership skills seen. She deserves an inspiration she serves, as an inspiration for others looking to join the service. President Dee Collins is proud to present Annie Pitchell of Cleveland Police with her award for leadership. So our next award is Lifetime Achievement, sponsored by BT. If they could join me on the stage, please. Jenny Blewett, Staffordshire Police. Jenny joined Staffordshire Police in 1987. In 1995, she became a child protection officer, where her dedication and commitment to protecting the most vulnerable became apparent, and would begin the journey of a 30-year police service, where she has been relentless in the pursuit of ensuring children and vulnerable adults receive the best possible service. In 2002, she identified the need for a multi-agency approach to obtaining visual evidence from children and vulnerable adults. She designed the training programs, which brought social workers and police officers together in joint approach. Jenny then went on to design the training for the first attending officers of victims of sexual offences and ensured this training was rolled out across the organisation. In 2012, she took up a position where she risk assessed and managed dangerous offenders. Then in 2014, moving into a role within the policy and review team, which enabled her to drive service delivery and improvement from the centre of the organisation. She has been integral to the forced rollout of the domestic violence protection orders, and as a result, many victims have been afforded the time and space to leave abusive relationships. Without doubt, Jenny's greatest achievement has been the implementation of Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent's Sexual Assault Referral Centre, also known as SARC. The aim of SARC is to provide an integrated and seamless pathway in meeting immediate health, crisis support and for the forensic needs of victims of rape and sexual assault. Jenny is a role model. Her dedication and commitment to public service has seen her deliver far above her rank and pay grade. She became a subject matter expert in all areas of public protection work, including child protection, rape and serious sexual offences, female genital mutilation, honour-based abuse, and the list goes on. Jenny provided advice throughout the organisation and across the partnership, from the Bobby on the beat right the way through to the executive officers. She has, without doubt, been an integral pillar of Staffordshire Police, who wish her all the best in her retirement. President Dee Collins is proud to present Jenny Blewett of Staffordshire Police with her award for Lifetime Achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, the next award we go to is Officer of the Year, sponsored by the Police Federation. If they could join me on stage, please. Ooh. Funky music. Officer of the Year, Steph Burke, Merseyside Police. Constable Steph Burke is an operational police officer with an engaging, compassionate personality who possesses a strong moral compass, endearing her to both colleagues and members of the public. This officer has provided intense pastoral care to police cadets with complex welfare needs. Often in her own time, and she is passionate about promoting equality and all strands of diversity. Steph personally recruited a large proportion of the cadet cohorts, many of whom have disabilities or LGBT or have BRM backgrounds, in order to promote positive action and make the organisation more reflective of the communities we serve. This officer is an exemplary role model and has successfully mentored and supported over 40 police cadets into employment within Merseyside Police. Her performance in terms of building positive and productive relationships with the Muslim community has been acknowledged by Special Branch as exceptional, and she has fostered mutual trust and support between the police and Islamic faith leaders. Stephanie delivers regular SEU presentations to schools, Persian, Chinese and trafficked groups, explaining practical safety advice and providing essential legal information when living and working in the United Kingdom. She has been instrumental in planning and organising major community events such as the Stronger Communities Initiative, with over 400 attendees from every diverse community within Merseyside to prevent hate crime and encourage reporting. Steph is an inspiring woman who is held in high regard by supervision colleagues, partner agencies and most importantly members of the public from a myriad of diverse communities. President Dee Collins is proud to present Steph Burke of Merseyside Police with her award for Officer of the Year. However, Steph cannot be with us today, so ACC Julie Cook will accept the award on her behalf, and a member of the BAWP will visit Steph in force on her return from her holiday to personally present the award. The next award we come to is Police Staff Member of the Year, sponsored by Waitmans. If they could join me on the stage, please. Sarah James, Cleveland Police. Sarah James works part-time as a PCSO employed by Cleveland Police, a post that she has held for 14 years, and when not at work, she is at home raising a young family. Despite working only 23 hours, Sarah regularly puts herself forward for tasks and duties which go above and beyond what is expected of a PCSO, often volunteering for roles meant for police officers. Sarah is the unison rep for the entire Stockton LPA, dealing with members' needs and welfare issues, ensuring that they are treated fairly by the organisation. In addition to this, she has taken on responsibility for the development and delivery of social media for the Cleveland Police Unison branch, and she runs the Unison Twitter account. Sarah volunteered to become a Cleveland Police Blue Light Champion. She is actively involved in the Blue Light programme, raising awareness of mental health within the emergency services. She has completed a range of training programmes, most recently ASSIST, which is suicide intervention training, a skill she immediately utilised when she came to the assistance of a lady threatening suicide. Sarah successfully prevented the lady causing harm to herself and arranged ongoing support for her. Sarah is also part of an accredited peer support training programme with Mind to enable her to be involved in setting up and running mental health support groups. Sarah is the sole point of contact for the Stockton Retail Crime Partnership, and this is something she has been involved in running for a number of years and has built up successful working relationships with retailers and partner agencies in Stockton Town Centre. In conclusion, Sarah demonstrates a real commitment to the communities she serves and to her colleagues. President Dee Collins is proud to present Sarah James of Cleveland Police with her award for Staff Member of the Year. The next award we come to is Volunteer, sponsored by Police Credit Union and Lady Care. If they could join me on the stage, please. Sally Mack, Norfolk Constabulary. Sally Mack joined Norfolk Constabulary as a volunteer 3 years ago in a role that was new to policing, that of a family liaison support volunteer. The intention being that she assisted RP, FLOs who were absent due to leave or courses. She attended the FLO course in her own time and the CPD FLO seminars. She has given over 2,030 hours to the constabulary and helped over 45 witnesses and victims. The role evolved in that Sally identified an area where sometimes persons in a fatal collision received no help or support. For example, witnesses. Police take details and statements and then they are left to their own devices. These persons are often traumatised by the horrific sights they have seen. Now, due to Sally's initiative, the investigating officer identifies witnesses that are struggling to deal with what they have experienced. She makes contact with the individual and either makes a home visit or sees them at OCC to assess their needs and gives relevant information and the most appropriate support agencies. She then provides telephone support if needed by the witness up until and including inquest. As far as we are aware, this is the only force in the country offering support to traumatised witnesses for fatal collisions, as well as having the only volunteer supporting family liaison officers. Sally is a credit to the Norfolk Constabulary. BAWP President Dee Collins is proud to present Sally Mack of Norfolk Constabulary with her award for volunteer.
This is my fight song.
So also in this category we have a highly commended Deborah Late. As well as being a company director, mum of two and a carer of elderly parents, Deborah Late has been a police support volunteer for Suffolk Constabulary for almost 9 years, taking on a variety of different roles throughout this time. Currently, Deborah has 2 police support volunteer roles within the Suffolk Constabulary. She is the role player, coordinator and the special constabulary training support, both within the learning and development departments. Deborah is highly committed to both roles and gave 576 hours of her time in 2017. This equates to a 48-hour week every month. She is of enormous value to the Learning and Development Department and saves hundreds of hours of trainers' time, which can then be devoted to the development of student officers. In summary, Deborah has become an invaluable member of the team. So BAWP President Dee Collins is proud to present Deborah Late of Suffolk Constabulary with being a highly commended volunteer. Us to our last award, which is Special Recognition and sponsored by Deloitte. So if they could join me on the stage, please. Anne Turner, MOD Police. Anne joined the Ministry of Defence Police in 1986. In 1990, she became the first female firearms instructor within the MDP, taking on the role as a full-time firearms instructor at RN AD Coalport. Anne remained the sole female firearms instructor in the MDP for 6 years, breaking down many barriers of what an entirely male-dominated training delivery environment. Between 1990 and 1998, Anne assisted in supporting not only operational females in firearms by assisting in running female-only remedial shoots for those struggling to meet the requirement. In addition to being in class and on the range with them, she also organised meetings after training hours in the female-only accommodation block to allow the female recruits the opportunity to discuss any issues and worries that they had, not only with the firearms training, but in joining the MDP as a whole. In 1994, West Mercia Police requested for Anne to work with their firearms training teams for a month to assist them to encourage more female firearms officers. During this period, she worked alongside not only male firearms instructors, but also operationally as an ARV officer, a role that WMP had no female officer in at the time. 3 years later, Anne met up with one of the females who had attended the firearms training, and as a result, discovered that through her inspiration, that female officer was now a full-time firearms trainer. On request, she wrote a briefing paper for the Royal Hong Kong Police on arming female officers, which resulted in that force training in firearms for that force training females in firearms for the first time. In 2003, Anne became the first female divisional firearms advisor and the only female qualified as a national tactical advisor. In 2004, Anne became an inspector training manager and moved away from firearms training. Anne is still viewed as a role model by her female colleagues and was recently approached by a female officer completing her probation. She was seeking advice and guidance on becoming a female firearms instructor. She has been an inspiration to those taking on one of the most difficult roles in policing. BAWP President Dee Collins is proud to present Anne Turner of the MOD Police with her award for special recognition. Some incredible women there, and for this year's awards we received 247 nominations, so both quality and quantity, and some of those shortlisted are able to be here today, so we would love to invite you to the stage to receive your certificate. So I will call your names one at a time, okay? So for bravery we have Jennifer Woods, Leicestershire. Coaching and mentoring, Rachel Bairstow, West Yorkshire Police. Community Service, Mandy Godfrey, Bedfordshire Police. We have 3 inspirational women, so I will call one at a time. So Christine De Vries, Essex Police. Malcolm, RAF Police. Sheffield, Lancashire Police. We also have 3 certificates for leadership. So the first one is Hilary Clarkson National Crime Agency. Danielle Grace, Essex Police. Dawn Phillips, Staffordshire Police. Lifetime Achievement Certificate goes to Christine Williams, Avon and Somerset. And Police Officer of the Year, Emma MacDonald, Gloucestershire. Certificates for Police Staff Member of the Year. So the first is Millie Grant, Leicestershire. Zoe Stowell, Leicestershire. And Kelly Warner, British Transport Police. Police Volunteer of the Year, Susan Proudfoot, North Yorkshire. Takes us to the end of the awards. Hey, thank you.